Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Rock and Roll Brunch podcast, episode number 30. Today, we're talking about AI rappers. Are they real? Should we care about them? And also,
Is
the
Machine
newest
Gun
one
Kelly real?
is Machine Gun Kelly real? We
Stay
say
tuned
no.
and find out.
We say no.
Oh no, we said no.
Also, the newest one from the Interrupters. All that, plus so much more, all on today's episode. Let's talk about a fake rapper. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Rock and Roll Brunch podcast, episode number 30. My name is Josh Marcanti. Today, I will be your host. With me, as always, are one very tired boy and one not so tired boy, Chris Marcanti, Dane Nerbach. Boys, good morning.
Top of them.
Which one's the tired boy?
Chris is the tired boy.
Oh, I was gonna say I'm feeling good.
Oh, that's nice.
You look wide awake.
I'm doing all right. I don't know what happened.
I hate to say we didn't do hand claps, but
Nah, who cares? They don't know what hold on, we can't pull back the curtain now, we can't do this. We have to just keep going.
I'm just gonna figure it out.
Chris is gonna have to. All right, let's give him a hand clap. Ready? 3, 2, 1. There. Now you got it.
That'll actually do it, I think.
Now you got it.
Guys, I have a confession. I've been clapping just a little after the hand claps for a whole year now.
Wow.
So,
by the power of my my very sharp engineering ear, I've been able to catch it and correct it every time.
You have an amazing production talent now. Chris.
Yeah, if you guys notice, everything's at a very sharp, high level B flat. That's the tinnitus.
That's the tinnitus talking. Dane, good morning. How are you this morning?
I'm awake. I don't know why, but I am. Yeah.
You look great.
Thanks.
I've seen you very tired in the morning. And this is not one of those mornings. You look great.
Yeah, you do look good. You do look
good. What time did you get to bed?
Well, I was playing Pokemon until about 10:30.
Which Pokemon?
Pokemon Arceus.
Oh, okay.
Listen, hold on.
I don't even know why I asked.
Hold on. I just gotta throw this at you. It's like a totally open world Pokemon game where you just get to wander around and collect Pokemon.
I know this game.
It's very cool.
Yeah, that looked pretty good.
Yeah, I got to ride around on a Pokemon in the water last night and I couldn't put it down. Yeah,
that's exciting.
Yeah, I mean, guys, it's not that exciting.
I'm gonna move along. Hey, Chris.
Yeah.
How are Chris? Good morning. How are you, buddy?
Good morning. How are you? I'm fine. I was up playing Zelda Breath of the Wild till probably 11 o'clock.
Last night you were?
Yeah.
We should be friends on our Switches.
I know. Why don't I need your friend code.
I need your friend code too.
I've really never thought about that as being a thing because I'm not really a video game guy. But yeah, we should probably do that.
You got to pass out your friend codes to your friends so that you can see what they're playing and then judge.
Yeah. Does Nintendo hand those out, send you them in the mail, the codes, little pieces of paper with the codes on them?
Mm-hmm. Oh. Yeah, you just have to write into Nintendo America and say,
"Give me my codes,
dear Nintendo. Can I have my Nintendo code?" And they'll send it back
with a copy of Nintendo Power and
Nintendo Power.
Yeah,
and then Mario will come to your house and
and deliver you a friend code.
Wahoo! Shit! Waluigi came and delivered mine. What does that mean? This episode has started really.
Here's your friend code.
I'm glad that happened. Here's your friend code.
Chris,
Josh, how are you this morning? You don't normally pull out your Waluigi impression so early.
You guys didn't know I had a Waluigi on deck? Guys, I got Waluigi. I got everybody. Actually, I do legitimately have all the Mario. I do have all the Mario impressions. I'm good. I'm a little tired, but we had a show. You had a show yesterday, so my voice is extra deep.
You're supposed to say how late you were up and what video game you were playing.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't. We were up watching stuff, so I wasn't playing video games too late. So nothing to report there.
There you go.
Yep. started Only Murders in the Room season 2.
That's
very excited for that.
Such a good show.
Chris,
Josh,
what you been listening to lately?
I came prepared today. Yeah. Have you guys heard? I know Dane probably has the LS Dunes single. LS Dunes. Oh, I'm so happy that I get to break this to you, clowns. There's a now a new super group called LS Dunes. Anthony Green singing, Frank Iero and from My Chemical Romance, and Travis Stever from Coheed and Cambria are playing guitar. And the drummer from Thursday and the bass player from Thursday have put out a record and they've called it LS Dunes, and it's been produced by Will Yip. So in terms of super groupie bands, one, I think Anthony Green should just let other people sing in bands for a while. Like, just, hey man, give it up a little bit. But the song actually does rip pretty hard. Josh, we'll be seeing them on Friday at Riot Fest. Apparently their first show ever is at Riot Fest on Friday. So
wow, must be nice to play your first show ever at Riot Fest.
It's a lot of pressure.
I mean, they're playing at like they're playing after Sincere Engineer at like 12. So
still
yeah, that's cool. It's very cool, but there's a part of me that's like if I were in that band, I'd probably be a little nervous to be playing my first show in front of hundreds of thousands of people? No, probably not.
Yeah,
how many people are?
Maybe
tens of thousands.
Tens of
thousands. Yeah, especially at that time in the morning.
Yeah. But I'm also listening to Marcus King. He's a blues guitar player.
Yeah, Marcus King's really good.
Yeah, his new record came out on Friday.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Everyone knew that.
And The Dangerous Summer, they put out a new record on Friday.
They did?
Yeah.
Well, I thought they were done.
I don't know. That guy's really weird. Yeah, but it sounds
I do have a question for you though. Do you listen to Marcus King because he looks like a slightly chunkier version of yourself?
I don't think him and I.
You don't think you go on Apple Music right now?
I have the record in front of me.
No. If you go on Apple Music right now and you look at the profile picture for Marcus King,
these are the hard-hitting journalism questions.
He looks like a beardless, chunkier version of you.
I don't see it, but I'm also flattered.
I'll be the objective party.
All right. Yeah. I think he's a ginger.
He looks fair skinned, but
I think
he doesn't totally disagree.
I see a resemblance, and yet I would say
there's a resemblance. We're good enough. That's good. That's great.
But I wouldn't say I see. I wouldn't say I look at.
We agree.
If the faces were literally next to each other on my screen, I wouldn't have.
You'd be like, there's something going on here.
Yeah, but if I had seen him on his own, I would never have thought.
No.
Somebody
but you put those chunky bread boys next to each other.
Chunky.
No, you're not. You're not chunky.
I'd love to see just Chris in a cowboy hat with an opal on it.
Now that can happen.
Now we can make
that can happen
like
that.
Right.
Listen, at some point, somebody once said that I looked like James Corden, and so anything other than that reference is actually fine by me.
Somebody once told you that you look like Philip Seymour Hoffman, and that person was me.
That's true.
There it is. No, The Dangerous Summer. That's really interesting. That they put. How is that?
It's a Dangerous Summer record. Like, there are very.
Are they changing the model at all, or
no, not even in the slightest.
I thought they just had this like big retirement thing, but all right. Yeah, interesting. Dane, what about you? What have you been listening to lately?
Well, before we decided to write our review the Interrupters, I pretty much only listened to the Interrupters for a week.
I have a feeling I know exactly how this review section is going to go.
Yeah. I still have some good things to say about it, though, even if it's predictable.
Sure.
I've also been listening to Russian Circles. They released a new album, and so they're one of my favorite kind of instrumental bands because they're just very heavy and like they're not reinventing the wheel with I don't know if you guys like them,
Mhm.
but there's nothing new about
been a
what they're
while.
doing. It's just good. And then okay, this one's really dorky, but my oldest Emmett is really into, for some reason, like old school Nintendo games. And I promise this isn't
That's
even
awesome.
it's like not even my influence. Like he's just like, I want to try playing Punch Out. And I'm like,
That's
let me tell
awesome.
you about Mike Tyson. Um,
And then you
and
told him about
then
Mike Tyson.
yeah, I had to tell him about the whole ear thing.
You oh, okay.
Okay.
Anyway, the reason I'm telling you about all of this is
That
because
guy's legacy is just
yeah, it's a mess.
just a mess.
Yeah.
I had a chance to meet him a few weeks ago. Blew
Wait,
it.
really?
Yeah, for
But
sure.
you didn't. What a great story.
No, it was yeah. I don't need to elaborate. I just I had a chance and I blew it. You were saying you were.
Anyway, all of this is to say that I've been enjoying this band called Kirby's Dream Band
Ooh,
that just you know, like they have like they play like Nintendo, like classic Nintendo songs, but they're like a band, but they have two keyboard players and they keep a lot of the chiptune sounding original keyboardy parts. And so we've been listening to like a lot of Kirby music, like Kirby's Adventure.
that's cool.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it's
you're doing a
it's
lot of shoulder work while you're talking about it. You're
I
like,
mean,
"Oh, we've been
so when
just-
I was younger, Kirby's Adventure was like my favorite game,
Mm.
and I loved the music. And now I feel kind of strange as an adult admitting that I'm still listening to that music, only with guitars and drums.
See, I don't think that's weird at all.
No.
That I don't think is all because like even video game music brings out that like nostalgia in the same way that like your favorite record from when you were a kid brings out nostalgia. So it's the same part of your brain to me. So I don't think that's weird at all.
You're not gonna say that I look like Kirby, are you, Josh?
No, Dane.
Strange
Does it upset you
resemblance.
that you look like a pale Kirby?
I think my pink faced hue kind of matches him pretty well, honestly.
Yeah.
No, I think if you had a black
throw a pink-
mustache, you'd look like Waluigi.
Yes, true. Wait, not me, Josh, right?
Not Josh. Josh
Oh,
looks like
shit.
Blockhead.
Blockhead? From what?
I don't know. I just made that up.
Mm.
Yeah.
See,
I just
can't
wanted to
back
be
it up.
insulting.
I honestly
yeah.
think Josh looks a little like Waluigi, so
Yeah, I can see it. I can see
take
it.
it.
A little
Take
dirty. Here's a your friend going.
Here's your friend.
Mario. Move on.
Yikes.
Josh,
Josh,
Wait, Josh, what have you been listening
There you
to?
go. Was waiting for that. There we go. I the only thing I really want to point out that has been kind of made its way back into my rotation is Spanish love songs. I've been jamming that record a lot this past week. Brave Faces, Everyone. I don't know if we talked about them much on the show. I love that record. It's fantastic. And I'm a big Spanish love songs fan. So that's the only band that I really want to take a second and highlight. If you haven't listened to them, do it. All right, cool.
Nicely done.
Yeah, that's it. And the record we're about to review for today, which I was also listening to before.
Shit, I haven't listened to it, guys.
Oh, do you want to take the next 20 minutes and
no, I mean, I
listen
want
to
to
it and
talk. I want to talk about
turn in a
issues.
shitty quiz.
How about this? I want to be the objective party in this conversation that doesn't let the music impact my intellectual like understanding of this artist,
of this
quote unquote artist.
You know what? You're saying, never mind. Sorry.
Yeah,
I thought you said you haven't listened.
I thought you listened to the Interrupters. That's what I thought.
Oh no, I have listened to the Interrupters. I haven't listened to FN Meka.
I think it's Meka.
Man, I'm glad somebody went first on the pronunciation.
Well, let's go ahead and dive into the story for today. This one brought to us by the good folks at uprocks.com. This one was about the reactions of Capitol Records signing FN Meka. There was another story, a follow-up that came up a few days later from Rolling Stone that I'll pull from as well. But for those not in the know, which I was not in the know until this came up, this might be one of the wildest stories that we've covered so far for the show. Basically, there is a AI generated, and that's not even accurate to say, trap music rapper that was signed to Capitol Records, and the reactions to that. So he actually is not AI generated. If you guys didn't know this, there's certainly an aspect of him that is. So there is no FN Meka. For this show's
he's a
purpose.
character, like
He's a
it's like
character,
gorillas
right.
or something, right?
And there's guys behind him generating the lyrics, coming up with the videos. The rapper himself is a black guy, but the two creators behind him are not. And there was a producer, not a producer, a promoter. His last name is Martini. Pull quote. But he said in a 2021 interview with Music Business Worldwide that FN Meka was, quote, created using thousands of data points compiled from video games and social media, and his music is performed by a human but structured by artificial intelligence. We developed a proprietary AI technology that analyzes certain popular songs of a specific genre and generates recommendations for the various elements of the song construction, lyrical content, chords, tempo, melody, da-da-da. We combine those elements to create a song. And then how much of that is even true, is to be. So this non-existent artist who has a TikTok with tens of millions of followers gets signed to a major label. Then there was some backlash to that in regard to, what does this mean for actual living artists? And what does this mean for the music industry as a whole? And then we'll talk about what happened a few days after that. But Chris and Dane, initial reactions to an AI rapper being signed to a major label. Chris.
Dane.
No, Chris, you go first.
One, I did listen to it. I did listen to it.
I also did too.
But I don't know who I'm not like a hip hop. I like some hip hop, but I'm not like in the know of modern new hip hop. But I don't know who Gunna is. I've never heard Gunna's music before. So when I listened to the song, I didn't know which one of the people rapping was Gunna or FN Meka.
Mm-hmm.
So it sort of okay, it could have been either one. I think, ironically enough, I think this is a good thing. I think record labels inevitably, especially record labels like Capitol Record, like large record labels, are inevitably going to sign weird digital artists. This sounded like it got like the rapper was using the N-word, and it started getting like it was a very racially charged response to this rapper specifically. So swing and a miss. But
that's a whoops-a-daisy.
That's a whoops-a-daisy. Obviously, I'm not a good commenter on that portion of it. I actually just think that, like, one, digital artists will be a thing. Two, it makes sense for a business to sign a not real thing and do, AI generated music that they can sell to commercials and movies and things like that.
They're referring to that, like the the in-houseness of not having to pay an actual person to exist and write music. Yeah,
it's like buying software off the shelf. Like, they don't actually have to, spend money developing, because that AI artist could do 100,000 songs in a year, right? And then they could test those and put those blah 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 blah. So the backlash that, like, it's upsetting that they're spending money on something instead of an actual person, like, fuck off, who cares? Like, don't whine that you didn't get your artists. Like, I read something.
There was I saw that too.
Yeah, that some producer was like upset that his artists and fuck off. Who cares? Like, lots of bands, lots of artists don't get signed to record labels. It's just not. And by the way, it's not necessarily a thing that you need today, right? Like, and don't expect the large companies like that to be able to afford to sign human beings that will walk off with a $1 million check to go write a shitty record. Like, sorry, it's over with. I think it's actually impressive the Capitol Records was like decided to go into this whole thing. It's early, right? Like it's really early into the whole thing. And so to sign somebody now seems like you should have waited it out a little bit longer. But actually, overall, I think it's like a good thing, and that large record labels like this will end up doing more of it in the future. That Capitol Records was just relatively ahead of their time.
I definitely agree with that. That at least they were ahead of their time, too ahead of the curve. My question for you though, you said you think it's actually a good thing.
Yeah.
So I was there's this guy Anthony Fantano on YouTube, and he's very deeply steeped in the rap game. You like that?
Yeah.
He's like a rap reviewer, but like in a very critical way. You guys should check him out. Even though you don't listen to rap as a rap reviewer, it's very, he takes that very critical aspect. And he was talking about this, so I was just listening to his kind of take on it. And he brought up something to kind of counter to what you were saying, Chris, which is how like there's this further watering down of the genre, the trap genre. So there was that one song on Apple Music, but then there's a few additional songs on YouTube of him just by himself. And Anthony Fantano was saying how like those songs suck. Like they suck. So taking this amalgamation of lyrics and tempo and da and putting it into something that also sucks only hurts the genre, only hurts the music industry. Why do you disagree? Why do you think that that's going to be a good thing?
I mean, listen, for all of time, people have been making shitty music. Now you have a computer doing it, and a computer can do that 100,000 times and analyze the plays on YouTube, figure out which songs have performed better, and then continue to make, like, it's just the algorithm doesn't have enough information to write a good song yet. But people have been writing shitty music forever. Like, yes, a computer did it this time, but don't, like, the idea that that's watering down look at the pop punk genre. It is completely watered down.
Pop country.
Pop is that a thing now?
Like, for sure, like arena rock country.
Yeah.
But like, that's been happening for forever. And then, by the way, if it's a shitty song, people won't listen to it. Like the fad of it being an AI generated song, that will fade if nobody actually just puts the song on Spotify and listens to it in their car. Like, I don't know, shitty music doesn't find a way. Good music finds a way.
I think in this case, they mentioned in the article that it has over 1 million plays on Spotify.
Sure, but again, this is like cutting edge, right? Like this is
right. It's like the newness thing of it.
Yeah,
of it all.
Yeah. I just like it doesn't. Technology is going to continue to take over a lot of things, and this makes people uncomfortable. But
wouldn't you be furious if a shitty AI driven pop punk band that like doesn't exist in real life, you can watch their videos, you can meet them online, you can have conversations with them, made shitty music and got paid for it, but they're not real?
What is the difference of today? Like there are lots and lots of bands making shitty music. And by the way,
let's extrapolate.
Hold on a second. And by the way, nobody can go see that guy perform, right?
Sure you can. Like, sure you can.
They're gonna put up a hologram of a weird. Fine. But that is far different than going to see a band play live music. Like at the end of the day, they're just categorically different things. But
I would argue for maybe not.
Go on Spotify or whatever, and you will find every asshole that's ever picked up a guitar, wrote an emo pop punk song, and released it on Spotify. The idea that that's somehow different than a shitty AI generated robot also putting shitty music on Spotify seems egregious to me. The only difference is the fact that the AI robot can
You're gonna wake up my kids. Calm down.
I'm gonna wake up my own kid. The only difference is the AI generated robot can do it at volume, and some dickhead in his garage can't. And so that's the uniqueness of it, that like there's a way that a computer can do this so much more effectively than a human being can. And from a business standpoint, that's what you want signed to your record label. You want somebody
That's true.
to write 100,000 songs this year. That's what you want.
Yeah, I think it's. Oh, well, I'll let Dane. What initial reactions?
I feel like I have a really different take, but not like on the same spectrum. But maybe, I don't know. Maybe I do. I feel like
You're saying I'm on the spectrum.
No,
Yeah.
shush. I feel like my initial gut reaction was this is fucking dumb. I feel like that was a lot of people's initial gut reactions because it was new, it was different. The guy looks like a stupid, like the drawing's dumb.
It's like a. I heard it categorized as like a Fortnite rapper.
Yeah, he looks
Yeah,
like a
because he
Fortnite.
looks
I mean,
like Fortnite.
it just looks to me. It just and maybe that was the subs. The the crossroads of video game and hip hop or whatever. I just to me the initial response was like, well, this is sort of stupid, right? And then I read an article about it, and it confirmed like this is not something I'm interested in. That's what I mean by this sounds fucking stupid. And then now that I'm being forced to think about it, because I think when things are new, people don't like it, and then they want to justify why they don't like it. You know what I mean? Certainly the AI algorithm lyrics, as a creative human being who values like writing and the expression that's tied into writing, certainly sees like having a computer regurgitate a bunch of things in pop songs as the antithesis of that, right? That's fucking dumb. However, this idea of like creating a fake rapper and having a team behind that fake rapper that's actually creating the music is kind of the same as I could name a dozen other fucking
for sure
like that.
That's actually really good. That's actually a good way to think about it.
We could say in the punk world, like the Aquabats are sort of like that. There's a whole persona or like character that a bunch of, and for a long time,
Or like
the Aquabats kept that a secret. You know, like they didn't keep. No one knew who the real people were, even though they were pretty. Like I'm sure
or
all
like
their friends knew.
Daft Punk or the Gorillas or
Right. Gorillas was my other example. Is like we all know who the people behind that are, but if we didn't, this would almost be the same thing, with the exception that humans would be creating the music behind it. I mean, like, I don't know, like Wolfface, and maybe he's not as relevant anymore because
everyone knows Wolfface.
Oh, you guys don't know Wolfface?
No.
Never mind.
No.
I'm like, it's just a dude who sings with a weird wolf mask on. I think he wears short shorts. Like
I think I actually might have seen that.
Howls a lot.
I don't know. I feel like there's a whole lot of artists out there that have fun with like the character. Oh, sure. Ghost. You know,
no,
sure.
Yeah.
Like,
I knew there was one on the tip of my tongue.
Right. I have a whole list of artists who like to play with the idea of putting a character out front and creating something behind that character. But even like Ghost has, like these nameless ghouls who are like playing the music behind him, and then we find out it's most of the recordings are just Tobias Forge all by himself anyway. Which is why he can cycle through guitar players, and all the guitar solos on every album sound almost the same. Like this isn't, to me, when you really stop and think about it, people's complaints are just because this is new and different. It's kind of a dumb, like the AI part of this makes it even dumber, right? Because we all value the human side of creativity. Like that's kind of the part of it, right? Like that's kind of one of the more, I mean, maybe for me, that's the most important part. But I think a lot of us would claim that like this is why we like music. It can and creativity. It connects us as humans. It helps us figure out our human feelings and stuff. So bringing AI to it is sort of dumb. But then I have this other thought that's like, haven't we always had people behind the artists writing the music? Like,
definitely.
Isn't that how we've always done like pop music?
Right.
Like
go look at any pop song and then go look at the writing, creative staff behind it, and it's like, oh, this is not one person.
Right. So I think, and so this might segue a teeny bit into the next thing that we talk about, like people's response, like calling this racist, for example. Like I'm not in a position as a white dude to decide what what we should be taking
Crazy, you're
seriously
like-
in terms of racism, right?
Reach it.
I'll
Right,
get
but-
it. I'll do it.
But
No,
there's
I'm kidding.
but there is certainly
Take this one.
there's certainly an argument to be made here that calls of racism for this fake artist, probably, and I don't, probably created by some, artists of color, right?
There
I
was
don't.
two brothers, Chris and Brandon Lee.
Oh,
And I will continue on that.
and
yeah.
well, but Gunna is the guy singing, right?
No, he did. The FN Meka did a collab with Gunna.
So that part's really confusing to me. But
yeah, it's just a song. It's they
some guy,
a real guy sang a
I
song.
thought the one article says we don't know who's really rapping, and then the next one said it was Gunna.
Yeah, no,
but
they there was another article that the artist, the rapper behind him, it's a different guy altogether.
Right, it is, but no one really, I don't think they've named who that artist is, right? I guess what I'm saying though is like my gut reaction to some of this is like, we don't like this. Let's come up with a bunch of reasons we don't like this. We're signing fake rappers instead of real rappers. We're dumbing down music that maybe we shouldn't be promoting. And hey, isn't this caricature a little bit racist? Like these all just sort of seem like this is a weird, uncomfortable thing. We don't really like it. So, I mean, I guess we'll come up with some reasons not to like it.
Yeah.
And I think some of the racist concerns about it might be legit. But I also like that one Twitter person said something like, if we let robots say the N-word, that's how robotic racism is born. And I don't know what robotic racism is. Is that like an algorithm thing? Or is that like robots actually become racist? Like just there's something, I wasn't even sure if that was a humorous comment or not.
Yeah.
Like they
It helps
seem
that
to
you
take it
called-
seriously.
It helped that you called them a Twitter person, by the way. But
I'm sorry.
I think that means it's
Fair.
already been born. I think the algorithm is racistly sentient. Like
I think it's funny to anthropomorphize a thing that doesn't exist. Thank you, I got through it. Something that doesn't actually exist. To like go like, well, this is a person and that person is racist. Well, hey guys, doesn't exist.
Listen, it's going to make people uncomfortable, but in 10, 20 years, there's going to be a category of music that is AI generated.
Yeah.
Computer music. Like it will be. I'm not saying it's going to dissolve bands or there won't be rappers anymore. I'm just saying that at some point, there's going to be a not so off-putting version of this that gets signed to a major record label because it makes sense to sign one of these things to a major record label and then sell that music inside of Fortnite, to sell that music inside of the metaverse, to go like, you can only hear FN Meka when you're logged in to Mark Zuckerberg's world. Like, it's going to make sense that these things exist. I'm not saying it's replacing music. I'm just saying that like it's supposed to be there.
That was going to be like, oh, Dane, you got something.
I was just going to say, except for he was dropped from his label.
And that's the point.
They.
And that's the funny part to me is that like 11 days later or whatever, Capitol Records is like, oops,
listen,
sorry, I didn't consult the community. Didn't realize that this could be considered racist.
Capitol Records does not have enough money in the bank to withstand some sort of boycott. So somebody called somebody else and was like, you better drop this motherfucker before people start saying they're going to stop buying our records. We don't have enough money to survive this.
Yeah, well, here it says, this was from the Rolling Stone article. It says, just hours before Capitol announced that it had essentially dropped FN Meka, industry blackout, an online coalition elevating civil rights causes at the intersection of blackness. I think that's the name of it. Oh no,
either that or that's going to get clipped out.
Posted a condemnation of Capitol Records on Instagram, calling for the label to terminate its partnership, formally apologize, remove his content, and allocate funds to charities supporting Black youth. And then
See,
Capital's
but
like, oops.
there's this whole part of that article that talks about like that he drops the N-word over and over again, and then it says there's even more concerning animated content across the avatar's pages, like posts of him in jail, dressed in an orange, seemingly off-white jumpsuit, and being beaten by a guard because he won't snitch. Like it, and listen, I'm just reading the article, guys.
I didn't see that in.
Yeah.
Oh, that's in the Rolling Stone article, but just
and
hearing that come out of your mouth is like,
and no, I just like listen.
Gold.
I know that like I can't be the person that decides what is like racially crossing the line, but there's a part of me that's like it's okay. It's not okay for a fake rapper to create a persona for themselves that uses this language in their music and create and uses this imagery in their image, but like it's okay for actual human beings to do that. And someone might be saying yes, but I still kind of feel like these rappers are perpetuating that same problem.
it is. It is.
I mean, I don't.
But
I'm
there's
just another
there's
white guy that doesn't understand hip hop music or that much. But
I think there's a suspension of disbelief if the person is human, where you're like, oh, they could have lived those experiences, or they're singing about their life or whatever. Whereas if it's an AI, you're like, well, you didn't experience those things. This isn't coming from your soul.
Yeah, but the humans behind it may have, right?
The humans behind it are literally just taking everything else that's going on that's popular and being like, yeah.
Or the algorithm is doing it, right? That's going
what I mean,
yeah,
right.
It's just absorbing this information.
And so isn't that the issue? That
that's the issue.
Like the algorithm's taking it from popular music, so it's popular music that's got all this stuff in it. You know, like that's probably what made it popular. That's probably what made FM Meka popular.
But
right?
Josh is saying that disconnection between like real people having lived it and an algorithm absorbing real people having lived it is the reason that it makes it problematic.
And I think that's the reason it's stupid, because these people probably, like, who knows if they've lived it too, right?
Yeah,
we're saying the same thing. We're saying the same thing.
I know we are, and we're not disagreeing at all. I just, man, that part kind of weirds me out.
We as pale whites with not that experience, and also not rap fans, can't be the ones to say, well, hey, maybe you guys didn't live that experience. Maybe you're just copying it. We just go, we have that suspension of disbelief. Oh, hopefully, theoretically, you're singing about experiences you've had or whatever. Whereas we know for a fact the computer did not.
But I also have to say, like, would it not be okay for artists to sing from experiences that they haven't had once in a while? Like, because
and they do
does that too,
and they sure do. They sure
as
they
like as a
do.
persona. Like no one in Ghost is actually like praying to like all of the different versions of Satan that are out there and sacrifice. Like
that's a good point.
That's just a character.
I see what you're saying. Yeah.
So I don't know. I guess if we have a problem. I mean, there's something kind of fascinating about the fact where if we have a problem with FM Meka, who is simply a reflection of pop culture, but we don't have a problem with pop culture, then that seems strange to me, doesn't it? Okay, and that's my
I see your point.
My big thesis.
Yeah.
So
I see your point.
While.
It kind of reminds me of like Tom Segura would do a joke about like drowning a dog, and he's like, and the crowd gets upset, and he's like, guys, the dog isn't real, so it kind of reminds me of that. Like, I see your point. To point being, I see your point.
So free speech argument, I think, is what Dane's point is. But
there's a lot. There's so many. What I find interesting about this article is that there is so many. It brings up so many things about free speech and the human element. The future of music. Go ahead, Chris.
Do you think at some point in the future you're going to be listening to like new, whatever Apple's playlist is, new music playlist or whatever, and you're going to hear
playlist.
Is that what it's called? I thought it was called like new noise. I don't know, but then I was like, that's a refuse song.
Are you talking about the rock and roll version of it?
Hold on, I literally didn't want to look this up.
I'm now forcing you to. You're talking about
new music mix or Rise and Grind. Or
Rise
whatever.
and Grind, yeah.
You're listening to
Negative Space.
Yeah, you're listening to an Apple playlist in 5 years, and there's like do you think you will hear an AI generated pop punk song?
For sure.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely.
It'll just be made by someone like Machine Gun Kelly, and Machine Gun Kelly will be really upset about it.
Correct.
You know what I mean? It'll be the thing that's because, like, come on, Machine Gun Kelly is pretty much the same as FM Meka right now. Is that too controversial to say?
No, I don't think so. He's a cartoon character.
He's straight up as a cartoon. He's a caricature of
He's
this
a
thing.
It's funny the way you view that.
Of all that.
The way that you view that, Dane, is, in my opinion, simultaneously 100% correct and 100% wrong. They're not that. Isn't it the same as FM Meka? Yes, he's a character. No, he's a real person. But you're right and you're wrong at the same time. It's fascinating.
But there's something to be said about Machine Gun Kelly taking what is popular in culture
100%
and putting out a record, because he used to be a rapper and now he wrote a pop punk record. Like, it just spitting it back out.
Dude, it's the same. But Avril Lavigne did it in 2001 too, right?
Shit. Machine Gun Kelly isn't real.
You heard it here first.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Breaking news.
Hold on. Are we real?
Oh, I thought you were gonna like set it up like a YouTube video, or like, is Machine Gun Kelly real?
Is anything real?
Wait, we should probably start the episode.
Find out later. Yeah, that's
find out tonight.
Speaking of things that might be real or not, let's go ahead and get into the review portion. Chris, you look like taking a drink. You're like, is anything? Things that are definitely real. The Interrupters in the wild.
Get into something that is actually real.
Now, something. I was gonna pull up my Waluigi again.
I was waiting for it.
So I don't even know who should start this bad boy.
Let Dane start it, because I feel like he wanted us to listen to this record.
Yeah,
go ahead, Dane.
I really love this record. Dane. I really love it.
Yeah.
Chris, go ahead, your turn.
Yeah, no,
I really love this record.
Any past experience with the Interrupters? Where do they kind of sit for you in terms of a band that you've heard of before?
Yeah, so I think I hopped on them late, because comparatively late, because like they're a band that to me I jumped onto right when Fight the Good Fight came out.
Mm-hmm.
And I went backwards and enjoyed their first album a lot.
Yep.
I'm sorry, their second album. I haven't really listened to their first album much,
I haven't either.
Yeah. So Say It Out Loud has a lot of songs on it that I really got into. Like She Got Arrested. I have this weird memory of listening to that song in the car with my kids, and my oldest is like, is this real? Like, why did she kill her boyfriend? And I'm like, I don't know how to explain this to you right now. But it was like, what I've always liked about them is like there's stories like in these songs that are, about doing the right thing, about or when the right thing looks like the wrong thing, when are about coming together as a group of people. There's a lot of camaraderie in this music. All of these are songs that you're supposed to like dance to and sing to all night long, and that's but I think that's what I always liked about the Interrupters is like at the end of the day they're just a band that like brings a bunch of people together. And honestly, I know this is probably a weird take, so I'll get through it quickly, but they're kind of like a good version of Rancid.
Interesting use of the word good.
Yeah, I'm not a huge Rancid fan.
Okay.
Like, there are some songs of theirs that I love, and there's some songs of theirs that I'm like, oh man, this is a good band trying to sound like a bad band sometimes, right? Like
no,
some
not
of their
sometimes.
really punk, some of their really punk hardcore stuff. I'd never really liked Tim Armstrong singing, and for some reason his appearances on Interrupters songs feel so right. Like his slimy voice alongside Amy Interrupter's voice, perfect match. You know what I mean? So that was a part of it. Like they keep it simple. They don't try to overdo it. I love that they're all brothers, and
I didn't know that. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
just like there's a lot to like about it. Okay, now the new album. The reason I like it so much
The one
is
we're reviewing
that
today.
yes. The reason I love them so much is because they just keep it simple. They play danceable music, sing along kind of stuff. This album is more than that though, and it's personal. It feels powerful in a different way because it's not like, come on, let's all like sing this like sing along chorus together. Like it's like Amy Interrupter talks about her life. I mean, it only took me 2 listens to be like,
Mhm.
oh shit, this album's really personal.
Mhm.
And then I Googled it and looked up all these reviews that said the same thing. And I'm like, oh,
Mhm.
we're on to something here. And I
Mhm.
haven't listened to the episode of Krista Makes a Podcast where they talk yet, but I'm really, really
Oh, I
excited
didn't
to.
notice there was one.
Mhm.
Oh,
It
gotta
is
get
so
Yeah.
good. Yeah. And by the way,
Because, but
they're also on Toby Morris's podcast. All 4 of them are on Toby from
yeah,
H2O, and it is also a very good listen. But
yeah, I really want to because I found that listening to this album made me want to know some more of the stories about their
Mhm.
lives. And I know they recorded this in a garage during the pandemic. I mean, there's like all this really cool stuff about this album. And I mean, over and over again, like I think In the Mirror is a song that's just too good to not have stuck in your head all the time. And but the one that really, oh, and Kiss the Ground is such a good reggae jam.
oh
It's
yeah,
just, but I also like the lyrics. Like this isn't just like people, like this isn't just like a good story about a rough and tumble kid.
yeah,
This isn't just like I'm gonna
Right.
stand up for you, brother. You're on my side. You know what I
yeah.
mean? This is a song about like when shit gets real bad, you got to be that's when you got to be
That's what
thankful
you
for what you
because
got. You know
yeah.
what I mean? Like
Yep.
that's the moment. But the best song in the world on this album is Raised by Wolves. It's like one of the best songs I've heard all year. It's just about like it's just like the epitome of a person making sense of their shitty life and finding meaning in it. And I just love the chorus. I
Mhm.
love that the oohs are like wolves howling and not just like a sing-along part of the chorus. I
Yeah.
just so anyway, I'm rambling a bit, but I think there's a lot to love about this album, and I
Mhm.
think it's more than just a good punk ska album. I think this is like something that deserves some breakthrough success, like
Mhm.
mainstream success. This is an album that's pushed there. Oh, and one more
Agreed.
thing. Did you guys watch the live performance that they did of In the
Yes.
Mirror?
Yeah.
Like,
On Jimmy Kimmel Show.
yeah,
Yeah.
that so that performance, it's like she's holding back tears
Mhm.
singing
Yeah.
that song.
Yeah.
You could tell like that song means everything to her. You know what I mean? So like that's my last little point. This feels like all along the music has felt honest and real, and this one feels somehow more honest and more real. So
Totally.
all right, I talked too much. I'm sorry.
No, it's great. You did a great job summarizing it. And then you
Go.
threw in your favorite songs. So Chris,
Go on, JP. I want to hear.
Chris, you got to see them at you went to that Hella Mega tour, right?
I did. Yeah.
I'll let you talk about that. Yeah. I don't know if you guys also caught them doing a cover of Generator. Did you catch that?
Oh no, that sounds cool.
I'm gonna send you guys a link. It's so goddamn good.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Anyway, in the wild, I was highly anticipating this record. Just like you, Dane, I was a big fan of Fight the Good Fight. And I was like it felt like it had been, I was like, guys, you need to come out with a new record. Like, please come out with a new record for a lot. And I think they toured the shit out of it and really kind of like maybe even did it right, which is like build your fan base on that one record. You believed in it, let people get into you as a band. And then when you have that moment, when you have the anticipation for it, release the next one and have it be this fucking good. I like Dane, love this record. Like first playthrough, I was like, oh my god, this is everything I wanted. I would
Go upstairs really quick. I'll be right back.
Yeah, you're fine. We'll pause.
Oh, we don't necessarily have to, but
We'll do this thing for a sec. My audio when we like 1 minute into it stopped for a second. There's almost no break in real time, but it did stop and I had to restart it. So I have the full chunk. it's just me not talking while you guys are talking, and then it started up again.
I'll figure it out. What I've been doing, because there is for all of us, not just for like you or Dane or me or whatever, but for literally for all of us, the Zoom audio always lines up, obviously. But it's because it's grabbing if he has a audio hiccup or something, or like the video, because like the internet piece of it is keeping up with itself from an audio perspective. But when we're recording on Logic, shit gets weird. We always start off lined up, but because like lag delays and things like that happen, by the end of the episode, you're talking and your words are like a half a second behind.
That's really interesting.
So for the video for YouTube, I've been using Zoom audio, and then for upload to the podcast, I've been using the edited audio that I put together in Logic, because that one sounds high quality. And I'm like, wow, if it's uploading to YouTube, nobody really cares about it. But also, like, I'm not going to sit here and try to like nudge all of the audio together.
I did happen to notice on that last video that there was like that's interesting to say that, because like there's like a slight lag on the video between like me talking and what you're getting. So I was like, oh, but like milliseconds. That I noticed, but it's consistent. The audio sounds fine. So
yeah, some of it just ends up like the video goes one speed, and Logic is hard, right to drive, so it goes at its own pace. So now Dane bumped his camera, so there goes continuity.
He's back.
Sorry.
It's okay. Do you have like in-ear monitors that you're using?
No, they're just headphones.
Oh, cool.
They're just like wired headphones. I like wired headphones.
Yeah, me too.
I like earbuds. I don't like big.
I also still like earbuds. I still wear them all the time. And do you need a countdown back in, or just roll back into it, Chris?
Just roll back into it.
Yeah, baby. What I was saying, I absolutely love this record. Dane, to put a little yuck in your, or a little yum in your yuck. I am a huge Rancid fan. I think not just Out Come the Wolves, but the majority of their discography is very good. I would definitely consider myself a Rancid fan. I think that they're taking the model that Rancid has done and is doing their own version of it, but it's highly, like if I describe the Interrupters people, I'm like, you have to listen to them. They're a female, more poppy Rancid. People go, oh, got it. And that's exactly what they are. So they're doing the model, but they're doing it in a more poppy way, and that's why when Tim Armstrong comes on, it's like, it's kind of just like, to me, it's not like an homage, or like it's like literally like the grandfather of the genre, like coming in and patting on the head and being like, let's do this, let's call it what it is. That is to say that I really liked The Hard Way. I really liked Let 'Em Go. Those songs, even like Raised by Wolves is the one that I'm continually like singing, and I'm showing my kids and being like, this is the song on the record. But what I loved too is like they really focus on like the choruses, and the choruses are so catchy and simple, but well crafted and thoughtful, and like, hey, do you want people to sing along to your song? Don't overcomplicate it. Make it 3 words that sound good. Da 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 da, and then put something so undeniably catchy behind it that like you can be tricked into not really paying attention to the rest of the song. But like then there's then like, okay guys, in the second verse we're gonna add this thing, and it's gonna elevate it this way, and then in the bridge we're gonna turn it on its heel, and da da da. This record is so good. I loved it. I don't have enough positive things to say about it. So, Chris.
I did see the Interrupters live. They opened for Green Day and Weezer and Fall Out Boy. For my money, I wish it was Fall Out Boy, Green Day, and the Interrupters, and Weezer just. I can't tell you how happy I was to hear that their residency was canceled due to low ticket sales. I'm like, finally, everyone gets it that Weezer sucks. Anyway,
every opportunity.
Every opportunity I can get. They were like the littlest band that destroyed all the other bands at that show. Like it was just,
which is like, isn't that just what you want? Like
you want
have the opener come in there and slay. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there was no pyrotechnics, there was no nothing. It was just they just went out there and were like going hard in the paint. This I was saying to Amanda that I wished this record came out when Olive was 12 or 13. And you go like, here you go, this should change your life. Like it's ska punk, but it's a girl singer talking about how tough, like looking in the mirror and always coming back to herself, and like there's crazy, her crazy life that she's lived, and it's very emotional and chaotic in the whole 9 yards. And I just feel like it's a record that like every 12-year-old girl should be able to connect to in some way.
And like even to like let him go, where it's like, hey, if there's someone in your life that's giving you a hard time, just let him go. It's such a good lesson.
And most
to your point, sorry, I don't mean to interrupt, but even like a song like The Hard Way, like there's a fun lesson in that one too. Yeah. Like it's okay if you learn things a different way than other people. Like
and like and the end she's like, and that's the fucking whatever. Like she still does everything the hard way.
Sorry, Chris, fine. I didn't mean to jump in.
No, but that's the point. That's what I mean. Like they wrote a record that I know how we treated records that came out when we were in high school. We're like, process of belief. Now this defines who I am. And like just at being a dad that went through that process, all I want is for her to be like, to find this record and be like, oh my God, like I'm reading all the lyrics. I'm looking at now I'm searching about where she came from. Like the record has that quintessential feeling to it of like, oh, you could make this into so much more, rather than being like, that's a good point. Yeah. A new record by so-and-so came out. I listened to it. It's good. And then I moved on. Like this record has the ability to be a liner notes record, to be a internet rabbit hole record where like it just becomes so much more than just the songs on it. But the songs on it, like there's songs for everybody on here. My Heart Keeps Beating, like as somebody that loves the oldies, you're like,
oh my God, I forgot to talk about that.
Is like Chris, a crazy beautiful ballad. The whole record, she's like at the edge of her voice, right? And then especially like in the mirror, right? When the end of it at that song, you just go like, what am I hearing right now? But that song, she hits falsetto in the My Heart Keeps Beating, and you're like, what is going on here?
Is it got everything?
And then of course we're ignoring. What were you gonna say, Dave? Go ahead.
I was gonna say, and that songs like that make me think too, like, man, they record this in their fucking garage.
Oh, I wanted to know
what I mean? Like these dudes like just were like, fuck, we can't do anything because of the shutdown. Like, I guess we'll just make the best album we've ever made in the garage and stretch stylistic boundaries at the same time. You know what I mean? It's like not just good sounding and good songwriting. It's like good production. Like they captured the thing that makes good soul music and good oldies kind of music feel that way too. I don't know.
Yeah.
Sorry. Thanks for bringing. Thanks. Yeah.
I was gonna say, and let's not ignore like Burdens with the dudes from Hepcat. The As We Live with the lead singer from Body Snatchers and Tim Armstrong. Like, and then they go like, hey, we've got Raised by Wolves. We got that for you. But by the way, we also have these songs with these folks that like we have to give it up to the rest of like Two Tone and give it to you guys. But for the record, I was so desperate to find out who produced this record. I was so desperate. I'm like, the way that some of those choruses, like the stuff that they're writing, I'm like, there's no way the band also came up with this shit. Right. And it turns out it's self-produced. Like the guitar player produced it themselves.
There's a cool part too. I have to jump in and say this because I don't think anyone else would. I think one of the reasons I really like that Kiss the Ground song is that the drums sound like this weird 80s like reggae. Like when reggae in the 80s was like, we've got to like have some cool like electronic drums and stuff. Like those drums, I don't know why did they make that decision to make those drums sound like a weird retro 80s like drums. That's just a one little choice where I'm like, somebody had to come up with that brilliant idea. No one's ever done that in like punk music before. But yeah.
And what you'll get from
did.
the Krista Makes podcast, because the guitar player is the one that produced it.
Mhm.
Everything that you think you hear from like a production standpoint choice, it was true. None of it was an accident. Like they were like, this needs to go here. The he talks about it a lot. The thing that's like,
yeah, the vibra slap. Yeah, that's just
the
straight
vibra
up.
slap.
I don't know any other band that does that like these guys.
He talks about when and where he decided to put it in, why he decided to put it in. None of it's a mistake. Come to find out, if you do some digging in the research, this kid that is the guitar player, he was the keyboard player for all of the transplant stuff. He toured with the transplants. He engineered for John Feldman. You know, like he's very much in the scene and production scene. But more importantly, the mixing engineer. Like the way this album is mixed, I don't understand it. Like how you can hear
how you hear everything.
That's like the same. It's mixed flawlessly, and then of course, come to find out, it's like this specific 28-year-old kid that mixed the last couple of Blink records that has done like 5 seconds. So it has this like super polished sound to it, which like. I don't know. You'd think from like a ska punk record, you want it to be a little grimy. No, not for me. Not for me.
Pop it all the way up.
Anyway, needless to say,
it's easy to get really excited about this album, and even though it's not really, it's just like a really simple record. It's really easy to get excited about it in some ways. Yeah,
yeah. I think this record is what this show is all about. Like 3 dudes just nerding out about how good something is.
Anything better is like a Descendants song, effectively. Like it just, I don't know, the whole record start to finish, they give you everything that you want for everybody that could possibly want it. And that's why I'm just like,
they gave me an oldies song, Chris.
I know. And so
and it's fucking so good.
Into the Wild and In the Mirror have been on they're Olive's favorite songs right now. Like
what songs?
Just the 2 singles, In the Mirror and Raised by Wolves. But so it's like constant rotation, which couldn't make me happier. So
anyway, Dane, for the year, I'm really curious, where do you think this one's going to sit for you?
It's just kind of weird for me because like right now, like my favorite albums of the year are like really different from each other. Maybe, right. But they're all lumped into like punk and heavy music kind of together. But this one's probably a top 3 album.
Yeah. Same here. It might be jockeying for one. I don't know. I don't know.
There's a lot of good records that came out this year, but this record is just like, it is a super fun record.
I think about all the music that has come out this year and the stuff that we've talked about, and I don't know. This one, Chris, what about you?
Yeah, no. It's gonna be damn near the top, if not the top of the mountain.
Yeah, man. Anyway. Well, I'm glad, like I said, this record is something that I think this show was made for, to just sit around and geek out about something this cool. So yeah. Dane, that's going to do it for this episode. Chris, that's going to do it for this episode.
Thank you.
Yep, you're welcome. I really appreciate your thanks. Give thanks indeed.
Give thanks.
Dane, where can people find what you're up to on the internet?
Jetsam-blossom.bandcamp.com.
Cool. Anything you want to talk about?
No, man, it's been really quiet. I've even been really.
You have you had like a bundle of something.
Well, we've got. We've got stuff like that's been floating around for a while, but at a certain point, like there's other things going on in my life to like deal with, and like I don't know, taking pictures of the same cassettes and records over and over again. It's sort of like social media is getting old, but my bands are awesome, and some of my bands are playing shows coming up, and we'll be promoting those, but nothing new in terms of new music yet.
Yeah, cool. Chris, what about you?
Throwbackchicago.com, where all things throwback are.
Anything you want to talk about?
We have shows, lots of shows coming up. more shows.
Cool.
Good.
Good
Josh,
stuff.
what about you?
It's all right here. Rock and Roll Brunch podcast. That's my whole thing right now. You can find us on Instagram. You can find our YouTube, all at Rock and Roll Brunch podcast. You can also email us with your thoughts on FN Meka. Is he good for music? Is he bad for music? Are the AI robot overlords of our future inevitable? Let us know. That is going to wrap it up for this episode of Rock and Roll Brunch podcast. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. For me, for Chris, for Dane. Check please.
Oh no, that was your Waluigi.
That was my Waluigi. Yeah. Hold on.
We need
All right.
more.
Wet
We
part.
need to try this
Because
one more
I was trying to think of. Hold on. You
think
gotta get into it. It's like check please. There we go. I had to give it the